This is the Counter-Strike that we all know today. This is the true Counter-Strike where me and many other people grew up with.
Stuck! Out my way, son! Door stuck! Door stuck! Please!
Team killer.
And I would even argue that today's Counter-Strike doesn't even have much to do with Counter-Strike. Harsh statement? Stay tuned, I'm gonna show you why. So don't get me wrong, Counter-Strike 2, I love this game, I enjoy it. I think it's the best FPS out there. Yes, I'm looking at you, Valorant. Go away. But also, it feels like a job. It feels like a chore. It is a competitive sport, so I have to practice. I have to be prepared to get better at it. And it's not just sweaty, but it also sometimes frustrates me a lot if I have a losing streak. And it's not just because I'm not the best player, but even the best players, a lot of Faceit level 10s that I know, get frustrated by the game, but they are hooked because they have to get better. And I was thinking about this a couple of days ago. I think it misses the essence of what video games should be. They should be fun. You should jump in there and you should have fun. You should forget the time. And I do sometimes have fun in the game, but only when I'm winning. But what true Counter-Strike is that you had different possibilities. You had the choice, which you don't have anymore. See, Counter-Strike back then, I'm speaking particularly of Counter-Strike Source. In my opinion, the best Counter-Strike ever made. Yes, unpopular opinion, fight me in the comments. But Counter-Strike Source was highly moddable. You had different community servers. And if you don't believe me, this game is still alive and thriving. Trust me, the server browser is full. It's crazy how many servers they are. But I'm going to show you today what it's all about and why I fell in love with this game so much. So let's start with one of my favorite game modes. It is bunny hop. You all know sometimes you can do 2 bunny hops at once in Counter-Strike 2. However, with some plugins, you could do everything in Counter-Strike Source. They were dedicated bunny hop maps. They were huge. People were very creative, and there was a dedicated scene. You all remember Foon. There was a dedicated scene of bunny hoppers, of people only playing Counter-Strike for bunny hop. Arcane. What a classic. This was looking stunning back in the day. That was an easy map actually. Still got it. Remember that I used to crank down my sense very low in order to pull these off. Oop. I mean, of course, there were some plugins to support this, but those were not considered cheating or script. Those were server plugins. It was like a small adventure. And the vibe was just a complete different one. It does not look... It looks like a fantasy world. So this was one of my favorite modes. I would put on some music, I would jump in there and unwind in between the games, right? Because still, Counter-Strike had a competitive scene back then. We did not have a competitive mode, but we had ESL and IZIA, which kinda is the Faceit of today. And we could play competitive, we could get ranks, we could play ladders, we could play tournaments. It was all there. But you had the choice. And honestly, I personally love the mechanic of Counter-Strike Source. The pro scene kinda skipped over it. It was most likely because they were used to the original Counter-Strike 1.6 engine, which I agree feels kinda more crisp when it comes to competitiveness. However, I think Counter-Strike Source does very, very well, and I love the jankiness of the Source engine. So what was beautiful is that besides those mods, you could jump in, meet people, have deep conversations. You could go in there, surf all night long and meet people, which actually happened while recording this video.
I personally still play CSS because to me, as a player who focuses a lot on movement because it's very enjoyable to me, I really enjoy source movement. I feel like this is the perfect game overall, not even just within CS games. And I feel like even though CSGO was quite good and CS2 is trying to replicate it to an extent, it never really gets as perfect when it comes to, the strafes and everything as it gets in this game. And I feel like the character model size is also perfect for a lot of things, and everything is fine-tuned even though it's an older game. So I prefer when it comes to movement, and for shooting it's also the same thing to me, even though it's a bit more forgiving with shooting and moving. On this game, I feel like that offers a casual approach where I can just chill, play a deathmatch and stuff, and not have to take myself as seriously as in a game like Counter-Strike 2. Yeah. I think I actually know your channel now that I think about it, because your voice was reminding me of something. Are you German?
Yes, hi, it's me.
Hey
man, thank you so much.
It's nice.
Thank you so much. I never expected that random people, if I join a random CS server, people would recognize me. To be honest, I think that I'm a very, very unknown creator still.
The most OG 20-year player or whatever. I actually only really played in 2017 a little bit, and I only seriously quote unquote started playing CS in maybe 2020 or 2019, and I can see, even though I haven't played for that long, I can just see how a lot of that soul has it's kind of a soulless game now, and it's kind of sad because it's only really being kept alive by the skin market and a lot of addicted people to gambling and stuff, and the pro scene. The pro scene is super interesting, and I'm quite into it. I'm watching the major right now, and it's fun. But if it wasn't for that, it would only be and that's a really bad look in my opinion, because it would only be based on the skin market and opening cases and content about it, which is all I don't know how much I respect that and how much I appreciate that from a game that used to really be about playing Counter-Strike, shooting and learning movement and learning lineups and everything.
What a wholesome guy. It just shows that I was right, that if you jump in, you get to know people, they're fun, you have a fun time. And all this while surfing. Surfing is an art itself, right? It is not easy. It's easy to learn but hard to master. But there were beautiful maps, really, really, really beautiful maps that you could play. And people were so ambitious creating the best and beautiful map out there. Look at this, wow. I don't know this map, so I have to figure out the way by myself. Yup. You! Who's the man? Yep. Who's the man? Okay, yeah. But you know what? I think the most fun I ever had was in Zombie Escape. Man, there was a dedicated zombie mod in Counter-Strike where you could join servers, dedicated thriving communities, 30, 40, up to 64 people in one server fighting those hordes of zombies, running away in different modes, in different maps. We had a Lord of the Ring maps that I played while we were filming this video. Oh man, welcome to Isengard. Yes, this is Counter-Strike Isengard. I'm gonna turn you into a zombie. There you go. Gandalf, I'm gonna get you. And many, many, many more. One of my favorite games was Gun Game, which is called Arms Race today. Back then, you had to climb the ladder, get the best gun, and then you have to climb it back down. And at the end of the day, you only had a knife, and then you would win the round. When you would win the round, the game would end and the map would change. Hundreds, thousands of maps. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, this is the real fun. Screw Arms Race, jump into Counter-Strike Source and play some gun game. So at the end of the day, I want to say that Counter-Strike 2 is more focused on other things than being a good video game. It is focused on competitiveness, on esport, on making money, on gambling. Yes, this is a topic which is kind of sensitive, but we have to talk about this. Like, Counter-Strike has a huge economy, yeah? And people are making a living out of this, which is kind of good, I guess. But also, people are losing a lot of money by getting addicted to gambling in an early age. And I think this is horrible. That Valve is supporting this, that Valve is actually creating those gambling addictions, which maybe start with cases, but then go even further and people get ruined by this. And I would say that all those things back then were not a thing. Gaming should be fun and fun only. Gaming should not ruin lives, whether it would be in gambling addictions, or getting so tilted and frustrated because you're not getting a higher elo, because you're having a losing streak. You should never ever feel frustrated after ending a gaming session. When I'm having a long day at work, right, and I'm coming back home and I try to enjoy those precious hours that I have, I don't want to get frustrated in those. But yes, I'm addicted to this game. Yes, I want to get better. Yes, I'm addicted to win, right? But I do play Counter-Strike Source still. I jump in there to unwind. And this is something that I want to tell you guys. This is something that I want to spread the awareness. Valve, bring back the community browser. Bring back the possibility to participate in this beautiful game and bring back the creativity of the community. Let me know down in the comments how you think about the current state of Counter-Strike 2, and would you play Counter-Strike Source? Would you play Counter-Strike 1.6? I can highly recommend it. Go ahead, download it. You most likely have it in your Steam library already, so go ahead, enjoy, and have some fun. Thanks for watching today. See you in the next video. Have a nice one. Bye.